generations. This peaceful island has been home to our family. But beyond our reef, a great danger is coming.
Now, we see a lot of movies that have had water in it before, but this movie is around water all the time. I mean, what is one of the hardest things, first of all, just about basically building water, but through effects?
One of the things we knew about is that we were going to be out there on the water with our characters, out on the open ocean all the time. We knew that the existing solutions that were out there on the market weren't exactly what we were going to be looking for to achieve the results we wanted, so we developed our own simulation engine called Splash. What we found is there's certainly a limitation on what you can simulate or calculate on any given computer, even if you build a big monster machine. So they explored distributed computing, allowing our simulation engine to run across multiple machines, thinking all about the same problem, and essentially, supercomputer style. Here's an example. You can see just this one wave breaking over probably 75 or 100 yards, and just that you can imagine that this isn't tens or hundreds of millions of particles. This is billions of particles being calculated all at the same time. Here you can see how we cut out a piece of the water, and that area is simulated and affected by the boat's motion. Outside of that, the general mathematical equations for how an open ocean looks are reasonably well known, so we knew that we could get good looking results there. But then the challenge became, how do we blend those two regions together, and really what needed to be a seamless way. So here we see just sort of a graphic depiction of what that is. When we started to get that together, this is going on back about a year ago, we started to see some promising results as we tied in that simulated region into the broader ocean. If you look carefully at this, you can see on the left-hand side, there's kind of a seam back there where there's a slight discontinuity between our simulation and the open ocean. This is a test a couple months after that. We're getting more promising results. We're starting to art direct the water to our liking. We certainly want to evoke that incredible feeling of the South Pacific and what that water makes you think of. This is an early test. You can see Moana kind of bobbing up and down, not entirely in sync with the boat, but we were really encouraged by what we were getting from the water itself.
I am
Hero of Men.
What?
It's actually Maui, shapeshifter, demigod of the wind and sea, hero of men. I interrupted from the top. Hero of men. Go.
So every time we weren't on the open ocean, we tended to be on an island. When we were on an island, we tended to be on the shoreline. You see the sand getting wet. You see as the water recedes, the dampness gets absorbed back into the sand. All these things you experience every time you go to the beach, but you don't really think about them. So we always want control. So we have to provide our artists in effects and lighting with many, many levels of control so that we can balance out the colors, we can balance out the movement of the water in a way that is going to give us the exact effect we're all looking for. So these various colors here represent those different mats and so forth that we have control over individually when it comes to tuning a final shot. So here you see a few different types of splashes. And we also have things like water spouts. And here's a shot created from Foundation Effects where Maui's getting tormented by the ocean. And the only thing created by the effects artist is just the splashes coming off of Maui, because the water spouts themselves are just part of this Foundation Effects library. Super effective for the movie and really allowed us to add incredible production value to much of the movie in a very straightforward way. And again, focus on the really, really big effects.
You have to put back the heart!
Well, now, I know you're kind of showing us water as a character. People don't think of that, but when it comes to Disney movies, everything is a character. So
when we were first kind of asked to do this, it was an acting challenge. So we decided to give a rig to character animation so they could actually animate kind of a bit of a sock puppet-like character. And then it was charged for us to actually turn that animation, that performance, into something that looks like water. So you can see here is what we gave character animation, and this is what this would get approved by the directors in character animation. And this is actually, in this shot, there's actually 2 examples of that rig recreated. There's the one that puts the flower on her head, and there's the one that swoops her up. But these are actually 2 different examples of that character. So we took another step of actually taking this character and running water sim over. So you get secondary splashes and you get water flying off of the character. This is what it looks like in the final film. So you can actually see there's the secondary splashes, there's bubbles inside, and then there's the simming back into the natural water in the background.
Did not see that coming.
The ocean is a friend of mine.
Another example of what you would get coming out of character animation. Here we got Moana giving the water a high five. Water comes in with a little sassy attitude. And this is what the directors would approve out of character animation. And again, we would take this performance, run water simulation over it, put bubbles inside. And very often throughout the film, when the water finishes its performance, whatever it's doing with Moana, we often just let gravity take over, have it become natural water again. So you can see here, after the high five performance, there's the water just becoming water again, and that helped quite a bit.
All right, I'm out. Oh, come on!
Water's pretty complicated character throughout the film. Sometimes it's actually very wistful and whimsical. Sometimes it's actually rather imposing. So it was that was one big challenge we had, both as with character animation and with effects, is how to make a giant water like this, potential tidal wave, not look like it's going to, take out Moana and her grandmother. So part of it's the gentle performance of character animation, and part of it is what we are doing in the effects department by not having this water simulate really, really big, by not having too much flying off. And also, you can see here how we sim the water against the shoreline and water going up the main piece of the ocean performance as well. Hopefully giving that all a very, very integrated look.
Worth a shot.